Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and happy freaking Monday. Let's go. Welcome to the NFT Morning Show. We host this Monday through Friday from 9 to 10:15 a.m. We're going to cover everything you need to know about the NFT market over the last weekend, over the last 24 hours, what you need to know, how to make some sweet, sweet cash off of what's been going on, keeping you informed, and hopefully we also have some fun along the way. I'm Clemente. I'm going to be your host for today.
He's dressed like Pio.
Okay. I'm going to.
He is.
All right.
Like literally looks like Pio right now. I don't know. I feel like you're
Is that a Basquiat hat you got on?
Mariners.
Close enough.
We can draw it on. We can just draw the little crown and it's all good.
Guys, let's stay on track here. Don't route me up too much.
None of us are distracted. It seems like you are, though.
I'm distracted for sure. I'm going to be on my best behavior today. I had to meet with the head of HR, Bunny, last weekend after my last shenanigan on the Cinco de Mayo. So I'm going to be on my best behavior today, guys. But we have Kicks joining us. We got a group of all-stars with you today. We got Kicks. We got Mr. Alt Nick. We got Signal.
Alt
Easy
Nick?
Bodega.
Like part of the alt-right?
No. And we got Bunny, who's been is he with the PSYOP gang? I saw him hosting a space with Ben.eth himself. Bunny,
what
was the weekend, and how much is Ben.eth paying you?
Not on the team, Clemente. Yeah, I don't know. That just because you're on a space with somebody doesn't mean you're part of the core team. I was getting a lot of those messages. I had some questions for him, so I didn't mind co-hosting. Also, I made some money. I don't know if Nick tweeted about a meme coin that I was holding. Immediately sold it. I figured that
was the exact right move. Literally, the moment I bought it, I never saw the price go up from then, and I lost 40% of my money.
30% retracement after your tweet.
What was it? Haram? I'm full degen mode with this. Haram. I deserve to lose everything.
Well, I lost 40%, and I said that's enough of everything. So I'm good to go. I got a DM from I don't want to call him out. I got a DM from somebody who surfaced Pepe to us before, and I was like asking questions. I got no response. I still have no response from that person.
Don't ask questions. You just buy. And that was the issue. If you had bought, probably instead of asking those questions, you could have made like 20%. But you asked the questions and bought the top.
I got in late on this thing easy. I 3X'd.
Bunny, are you still in Bambi?
No, I rotated from Bambi into Haram. I mean, these names are ridiculous. I can't wait till this is over. But I put a little bit into Haram, and then I pulled out. Literally, like I saw Nick's tweet, I text Easy and was like, dude, I think I'm going to sell because of this.
That was the right call. I'm disappointed that I legitimately was a top signal. Like my tweet may have been like down to the moment. My tweet was a little bit afterwards. I literally bought it and then I go check like 15 minutes later and I'm like, well, I'm down 25%. Like literally 15 minutes later, I'm like, I should just sell this and just cut, like call it a loss. And then it goes up and I'm now down like 4%. And I'm like, okay, there's a chance here. I got 96 cents on the dollar. We're good to go. This could turn around. Let's double it, baby. And then I come back and check later and I'm like, I'm down 40%. Like I'm just getting out of this. Like I'm not dealing with this moment in time.
Nick, I was actually, I thought you were turning it around because you killed it on Pepe. Your calls were all on lock. You infamously called Pepe to $1 billion. You told Kicks to buy the dip. So I thought things were turning around for you. And then Haram. And
like this was, I knew in the moment that it was degen mode. And I know when I'm in degen mode, like I just shouldn't trade in that mode. My win rate on degen trades is very close to 0. It's like, it's as bad as it gets. I'm possibly one of the single worst degen traders when it comes to like riding some like random shit NFT that I know is not going to work out. It just doesn't work out immediately. Like immediately I just lose money, and that's the name of the story. I was trying to be like Easy and Kicks, but Kicks has been turning the corner and taking a page out of my playbook and actually like pull and basically being like, I'm not going to operate in that degen space. And instead, I'm only buying the smartest of bets like Pepe Coin, you know, which is not degen at all. It's just smart investing.
And he's also like very focused on a trade schedule. He's like, if I make a 2x, I just take my profit. I close out a deck screener. I never open it up again. And I go for a nice walk, drink my Starbucks, spend some time with the family, make my 5 ETH, and I'm done for the month. It's like, you've matured a lot in the last 2 years.
Dude, 5 ETH is a lot.
787 pickles.
And, you know, humble beginnings, but, you know, I feel like I'm really turning the corner here. You know, middle of last year was rough for me, you know, buying, you know, PXN at the literal top and buying Pixelmon.
Kicks, you missed last show on, I think it was Thursday. We surfaced this video of you from June of 2021 with your you had a 3D printer in the back that you were going to use to print golf balls.
I'm trying to get rid of that right now. Complete waste of $5,000. I'm literally trying to give it away for free just because, like, I don't know.
For free? I don't know. Part of me feels like this is an opportunity for me to drive down to Maryland, say what's up, and pick up this printer.
You really should, man. I mean, it's great. You can print 12 golf balls in like 45 seconds and, you know, then a couple minutes to reload it. But I started doing the math on novelty golf balls, and you got to sell a lot of those to even make like $100 grand. You know what I mean? If you're making $1 profit a golf ball, that's 100,000 golf balls. You got to.
So it's not a 3D printer; it's a golf ball printer.
No, it's like it can print like iPhone cases. It can basically print on any sort of like, you know, 3D object if it has a flat surface on the 3D object.
It prints a label.
No, it just like ink prints on whatever surface you have. So it'll like print like I had like
it's not a 3D printer.
No.
That Pio was explaining it as a 3D printer, and I'm like, how are you going to 3D print golf balls?
No, that would be way cooler. A 3D printer would have been a good investment. This was a terrible investment, but I'll tell you what, phenomenal service by the Chinese manufacturers. They hit me up every couple of months and just ask me if I need any help or, you know, servicing it or anything. I'm like, haven't used it. 2 years later, it was a COVID idea. It was a bad COVID
changed
idea.
Profession since, but
yeah.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the show on the road today. We actually have a lot to talk about in the NFT front. Finally, I think for the first time in a couple of weeks, we have 2 new collections being added to Blend today. We're going to discuss what those might be and possible expectations for them, and how Bunny's co-host was able to raise nearly $7 million in a token presale over the weekend. And we're going to break down
a debate on whether Bunny has any sort of legal exposure.
A lot.
Oh, he's going to jail.
And we're also going to break down some of the top movers over the weekend and what you need to watch for today and this week, because there's a lot of potential catalysts you need to be watching for. But before we get started, we're going to thank today's sponsor, Phantom. The leading wallet on Solana is bringing its millions of users a superior user experience and NFT features to Ethereum and Polygon. With Phantom, you can easily showcase your NFTs across all 3 networks and manage them within one convenient location. You no longer need to suffer from constantly switching wallets. Phantom offers a browser extension and world-class apps for both iOS and Android, so you can access your wallet from anywhere, even on your phone. Plus, you can search and pin your NFTs and hide spam to keep your collection organized. Get rid of those rugs. One of Phantom's most popular features is the ability to directly list and edit your NFTs prices on different marketplaces without leaving the Phantom Wallet app. Over the weekend, I was trying to list on OpenSea. It was down. That wouldn't have happened on Phantom. This feature is already live for Solana and will be coming very soon for Ethereum NFTs. And you no longer have to deal with the hassle of managing multiple wallets and seed phrases. With its multi-wallet functionality, Phantom has support for multiple seed phrases, allowing you to import and manage all your wallets in one place. The upgrade to Phantom is seamless. There's no need to send or transfer assets. You simply import your MetaMask wallet. Visit phantom.app and import your ETH wallet to get started. There's a link right above. You can click that and get going while you listen to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the show on the road. Signal, I believe you are on the weather report today. Am I correct?
I am, sir. I am, sir. Let's get into what was going on in NFT land over the weekend. Coming in at GM Monday, the 15th of May, total market volume was 23.9 million, just shy of 24. Blur still taking lion share at 12.2, while OpenSea down at 5.4. Onto leaders, well, apes are back up to 47, which is good. They're not reaching Bunny's prediction of 40 just yet. Mutants holding 10, while Punk sitting nicely at 49.4. Azuki holding that 14 ETH floor. D-Gods and Captains just edging, getting closer and closer. D-Gods to the 0.3 lead, while Captains at 8. Pudgy's doing extremely well, up at 4.8, almost 5 ETH, and Moonburst down at 2.1. Over the weekend, the headlines, well, we were talking about it earlier. After selling Ben token to Bitboy Crypto, Ben.ETH has launched PSYOP. The token raised more than $1 million within 1 hour of launch, and by the end of the pre-sale had raised almost $7 million. Onto Blur, we talked about it just at the beginning. Clemente mentioned that there are 2 collections coming to Blend today. The speculation is that it could be Oni and Pudgy Penguins. Floor on Pudgy's is almost at 5 ETH, and Oni is at just over 1.0. Sorry, just over 1, sitting at 1.09. Onto sweeps of the weekend. Well, Animoca chairman Yatsu was shopping for JPEGs. He swept 4 BAYCs for 180 ETH and 4 World of Women as dedication to Mother's Day. Apes edging back up to 50, as we mentioned, and World of Women sat at 1 ETH. And then lastly, today's big drop is Nike R Force 1 from the DotSWOOSH. Those with the poster will be able to first mint. Then it's going to be followed by the people who are registered members. The drop is $19, and it's going to be available to pay on credit or debit cards, happening on the swoosh.nike website. Onto crypto. BTC holding 27.3, ETH holding 1.8, Solana at 21, Ape at 3.3. Most of the alts have pulled back, but obviously in Degen token meme season, anything can rocket. Let's try and see if we can catch them for this week. Back to you, folks.
Thank you, Signal, for an incredible weather report. Moving on, we're going to take some stories from the newsletter, the Nifty Daily Digest. You can sign up at thenifty.com, put in your email, and don't forget to connect your ETH and Solana wallet to the website. You're going to want to do that within the next 30 days, and you're going to find out later on why. But some of the top stories for today, I'm going to need you guys to be patient, and I'm also trying to avoid the comments. I saw who minted Pio's derivative. That's the I had to turn off the public comments. But guys, the top stories for today, we had the wallet of a one-of-one DGods holder get drained over the weekend, resulting in the loss of that DGod, which sold for 99 ETH just hours later. That was the #1 sale for DGods on ETH so far. We also had Pudgy Penguins announce that their highly anticipated Pudgy toys will become available on May 18th. So something to watch for there in the Pudgy Penguins department. We also had the phase 1 of bid spoofing filters go live on Blur, and a notorious pump and dump wallet that had accumulated over 110,000 points on Blur get reduced down to 0. They gave them the skull over the weekend amongst other top wallets. So something to watch for there in the Blur department as they continue to combat farmers. Do Kwon, the infamous creator of the cryptocurrency Luna, was released from jail this weekend after paying over $400,000 in bail. And lastly, following a recent ban of them in Florida, Texas also introduced a bill to ban CBDCs, citing potential risks of excessive government surveillance and control over private transactions. So those are your top stories for the weekend. Don't forget, you can sign up for this daily newsletter to hit your inbox before the show every single day at thenifty.com. Just enter your email. Nick, when you hear some of those stories and some of what's been going on over the weekend, does anything stick out to you in particular?
Man, so many things stick out to me, Clemente, just like a sore thumb. The biggest thing, well, there were a couple of things that you brought up. First, I just want to, I don't know that there's much to say about these. The meme token season feels like it's coming to an end. So I don't know that that's actually as relevant other than the fact that Bunny now has legal exposure. Did anyone ask Easy? Did you ask Bitboy if his company is based in the US?
His company is.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's not, does he have any legal concerns when did you ask him about that when he came on the show?
Did not. We only had a couple questions. He came on around 8:30, so it was only about 15-20 minutes. But nothing from the legal side. They're still working through the legalities of the Ben token, which is what is held up so far while they move funds around to make sure that it is above board. Is kind of the speculation that they said.
The terms of the deal have been finalized, but the deal hasn't gone through yet.
Got it.
Got it. So market the coin, pump the coin, and then figure out what to do with it later. I like this approach. And then say I wasn't involved with it. On paper, deal hasn't gone through. I like this. This sounds pretty legit.
What could possibly go wrong?
Publicly claim ownership and management of this thing. Couldn't you be sued for that as well? Like basically marketing an asset that you don't even control, but misleading.
Is it really an
people?
asset, Nick? Is it a commodity? Is it a security? What does it fall
Security,
into?
sorry. Seems like a security.
So this is the SEC now getting involved. Bunny, just for some context, but ladies and gentlemen, just for some context, Bunny was hosting a space this weekend with the infamous Ben.ETH and was chatting it up this weekend also with Bitboy Crypto, who also joined GMGM Market Talk hosted by the one and only Easy Eats Bodega. Bunny, are you, after connecting and talking to Ben.ETH, how do you feel? Did it solve any of your concerns? Are you feeling excited about PSYOP? Did you send any money to PSYOP, or did Ben.ETH send you some?
And is this a situation of keep your friends close and keep your business partners closer?
I didn't send any money there. I don't know. Like, his answers weren't great. He was getting kind of angry at anybody who pushed back at him. My biggest question was like, I asked him if he was afraid if he kept the pre-sale open for too long, and he's like, nah, there's only 4,000 wallets. He's like, you're gonna tell me there's only 4,000 wallets in crypto Twitter? It's like, I don't know. I guess that's a decent argument, right? I think Pepe hit 100,000 holders, and I think we know that everybody who's fudding, like they'll 180 on this if they think if there's a modicum of like chance they make fucking money on this, they'll pivot and they'll start FOMOing into it.
So,
well, you're throwing shade my way there, and I don't appreciate it, but there's no way that I'm turning on this. This is just a shit coin, even though I have seen that the price action has been positive on this. Okay. It did cause me to feel a little bit of FOMO, but I did not follow through with that FOMO, and I'm not going to do it because this is a complete scam.
So Easy, do you mind just sharing a little bit of context for someone that doesn't know the full story behind the Ben token and now PSYOP? Just for a little bit of context from what I know is that they just closed a pre-sale over the weekend for this PSYOP token. It raised $6.9 million. And I believe there's the next steps are going to be revealed in the following days. But from what I know, there's not too much that has actually been revealed yet.
Well, so far, nothing. The big speculation is like, is it going to rug? It's kind of like where people are at. They're like, could this rug? Theoretically, yes. But we had Bitboy basically saying multiple times that like he's video chatted with Ben, and if it rugs, there's like some legal repercussions that could happen. And the Ben token honestly did not have like as much of a run up until Bitboy talked about it, and then came out and was like, I'm taking this over. I'm an advisor. And he had even said he had no idea that Ben was planning to launch another token. And then PSYOP came out. And everything right now has just been like, it's a game basically. Like, you won't know if it's a PSYOP. Posted like a screenshot from Telegram of him like, let's drain the liquidity, trick everybody, then re-inject the liquidity. It'll be crazy. Like, it's a PSYOP. And it's kind of a dumpster fire, to be honest. And to Bunny's point, like, Bunny has been actively involved, being a core member of the team, of course, and has talked a lot about it, where he said yesterday the guy got into the space and was like, I'm not talking about what's going on with PSYOP until we have 1,000 listeners in this space. And was like, we're going to sit here in silence until we get to it, and proceeded to sit in silence for about 5 minutes. So, I mean, the guy definitely has
It only took 5 minutes?
Dude, yeah.
Can we try that?
Hey, I don't think we'll have the same effect.
No, hold on one sec. Everybody stop talking. Stop talking. We're going to sit here and wait until we have 40,000 people in this Twitter space. Tell everybody. Let them all know. I need 40,000 people in this Twitter space. No one's talking.
I just hear the
How
click.
how are the numbers looking, Clemente?
They're leaving in droves. We just hear.
Ah, crap.
I don't know if it's kicks or easy. That's just
This didn't work.
Playing. They're pulling the whole SBF, playing games during the show.
Real quick, I just wanted to say the other top story is we did replace Pio with a similar looking person in their attic, you know, which I think this was how Pio started, Clemente. You know, I think there's a lot of potential here. If you're, you know, we have a fellow backwards hat wearing.
Somebody commented. Someone commented and said, "This is when your mom says you have PO at home." That made me laugh. I was like, "That's pretty funny." That's pretty good.
I was going to say as well, is meme coin season really over? Because yes, we're talking. I mean, the Sype one sounds like there's potentially going to have some legs there. But Easy, I saw that you shared in the group chat about WorldCoin, which is the coin from ChatGTP. They're aiming to raise $100 million. That sounds like a coin I think probably a lot of people would be interested in. So it could just be that like the season isn't over, but people's patience for the crap, like they're not going to be doing that anymore, and you just wait. Just wait for the good coins.
So you said it's the people. I kept seeing this theme or thing going around that it was from the people of OpenAI.
They never confirmed it.
I don't see anything on the site that says that, and this just sounds like a scam from that standpoint. To make a claim like that and it not be is ridiculous.
What's even more interesting though is you have to KYC to get the token. So like that was the bigger thing, was like a lot of the stuff I was reading was like it's some social experiment to try to show the power of what is it? UBI, Universal Basic Income. And that was like the way that they're trying to roll this out, where if you KYC, you get a token. Like that's it. You just get one. And they're trying to roll it out that way. But that was like the one thing I couldn't find it either, was that it was officially ChatGPT backed, which I don't think it is.
OpenAI. I want to be clear. OpenAI is the organization.
Yeah, OpenAI backed. So
we had a ChatGPT token already.
Yeah, we've had like 6 of them. We've had like a Bard token, 6 ChatGPT tokens. Like basically pick your poison at this point.
Well, I saw Rick Starr actually bring up a good point that said check Etherscan. That's all the proof you need to know that meme coin season is over. Right now it's at 57 GUI, which is the lowest I've seen it in like the last 2 weeks. So it does feel like things are calming down in the meme coin department and actually picking up in the NFT department. It has been interesting to see some of the top news there. But just to wrap up some of the meme coin aspect before we move on, Kicks, do you have any tokens you're looking at? Do you have exposure to anything?
I just want it real quick, Kicks, before you comment on it. I did Financial Times actually does have an article. So it's Sam Altman, who and not OpenAI, but Sam Altman is CEO of OpenAI, who is responsible for this coin, securing almost $100 million in funding so far.
Oh, wow.
So,
Sam Altman nears $100 million in funding for WorldCoin crypto project. Startup plans to create global identification system through its iris scans to enable access to free global currency.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a form of UBI is what that is, the basic income for individuals.
So the $100 million token sale occurred early last year.
And now it's the rollout for individuals to claim the token if they go through with the KYC.
So they're going to raise the 100 million, then distribute it to all of us. I'm down.
I mean, hey, listen, this guy's done some crazier stuff, and he's about to ruin the entire world with AI. So I'm here for it. What could possibly go wrong?
Kicks, just to put a bow on this, how do you feel about the current meme coin, the state of it, and are you buying anything, or are you staying away and possibly looking at NFTs now that the market seems to be shifting there?
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like, you know, like, fucking, I don't know. Like, never know, you know, like.
Okay, how many times did you practice that over?
That was my first go. That was my first go. It's not bad, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't own any of the meme coins right now. I definitely think that if you look at like the Ethereum gas prices, we had like that blow off top and now it's coming down. I'm definitely interested, you know, in potentially making a trade, but it would be on one of the better ones, like, you know, it'd be on Pepe or something like that. But I'm definitely this week looking to explore the NFT side, because I really do think that, I mean, 64 GUI is still too high, but if we get down to that like sub 30 range, I think that's a good environment for NFTs to start cooking. And there has been some good trades already. I mean, I saw you tweet out about it Oni Force. I think maybe Spencer brought it up last week or early last week or something like that. It was down like 0.5, 0.6 range. It went to 1.2. So I think there's some good trades starting to pop up on the NFT front. But yeah, I'm only going to make a trade on meme coins again if there's like a really nice setup. But I feel like a lot of the mania is gone, and I'm not good at just like, you know, doing these ones that you have to get in and out in 2 hours and all of that jazz, you know. So
That's been Solana season, baby.
yeah, and I don't want to give back my gains. You know what I mean? I'm up, you know. Classic gambler problem is, you know, you're up, you think you can keep doubling it, you give it all back to the house. So
You buy haram.
you buy haram.
Yeah, well, 100%. Well, it's the first thing that I wanted to tackle on the NFT front is 2 more collections will be added to Blend today. Signal, I know you mentioned that it could potentially be either Oni Force or Pudgy Penguins. I'm curious to hear everyone's theories on what it could be, and then possible price action predictions for something that could be 1 ETH in that price range, like Oni Force. What kind of price action that could look like? But Signal, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, no, it looks. I like it when I have these collections which are down in a 1 ETH, because I think more people can participate who potentially don't want to do Miladies, but then are priced out of, let's say, Azuki or Punks. So I think it's good if it's going to be Oni. But we've already seen quite a strong run, and each time a collection is being added to Blend, we're seeing that the market is becoming smarter. So the first time it was added, we had like a 2-day pump. The second time it was added, we had like a 1-day pump. So these pumps are actually becoming shorter every time, and you just don't want to be caught with a hot potato. And then the Pudgies one, I'm not really sure if it's going to be Pudgies. I feel like Oni's more likely, but Pudgies have their thing happening today with the toys, which I'm very excited about. Those toys, by the way, look really, really good. And I'm excited to see what happens with that collection and what they're doing with it. But yeah, Oni, my money's on, but Pudgies, I'm not sure. I'm kind of like Matt. Yeah, nah, I don't think it's Pudgies.
When you look at a collection like Oni Force, that's right now 1 ETH, and we the reason why we covered it when it was half an ETH about a week ago was they had partnered up with Horizon Labs, the creators of or the team that helped Ape Token helped launch that. We were like, hey, the meme token or the tokenability of this NFT collection could cause a significant pump. Now it's all the way up at 1 ETH. Kicks and easy. When you look at Oni Force at about 1 ETH and the run up to it, how are you feeling about it now? Are you staying away? Are you priced out of it? What's the upside scenario for a collection like Oni Force here?
I think it goes higher, like much higher. Like I genuinely do. I think we're gonna get closer to like the 1.5 ETH floor, to be honest. Maybe even like 2. If they announce anything with a token right now, I think they're just gonna fly. Like we've seen the power of that with the meme token and what they've been doing and everything else. So like, and the only thing we got is like some speculation on what the supply is going to be. But I genuinely think Oni Force, with the team behind it, doing the marketing that they were able to do for Binance in Southeast Asia, and continue to actually incentivize like that project coming back to life and being like this comeback story, I think is probably one of the better story arcs that we get, especially in a bear market. And if they can continue to drive floor price up now, then I really do think we're going to see some really positive price action from it going into whatever types of things that they have announcement-wise. The mention of Horizon Labs seems really accurate. I've had a few conversations as well of people speculating that a token's coming for it based on rarity. So that's actually why you're seeing some more of the rarer assets sell above floor quite quickly.
I found this thread that someone tagged me in that described like, hey, this is potentially what might be announced today. I believe the speculation is that an announcement is coming out today, and the collection we're talking about is Oni Force. And people were saying we're throwing out Amazon NFT Marketplace, but they were also talking about this potential like anime series. And I believe it's with a streaming service called Crunchyroll. So people are watching for that as well. It seems to be less on the token front and more on like, hey, this is kind of what we've been delivering. Nick, does anything stick out to you from the Oni Force front that you're watching here? Or you just staying away for now on that department?
It's not even on my radar. Oni Force is just not. That said, you know, Spencer is really bullish on it, and because they were like acquired by a private equity team that wants to, I don't know, you know, build out the brand. He was more bullish on it. Generally speaking, I mean, I'm shocked to see like a private equity team build out an NFT collectible. Like I don't know what the future of this project actually holds. Like I don't know what the vision is, and like what they're anticipating. The one that I have watched and saw, I think there were a lot of captains that sold this weekend also, and that was one that was on my radar. It's actually weird looking at the chart. I don't want to say it's artificial, but it has like very weird steps. If you look at like the last 90 days and you just pull up the chart on like OpenSea, it's like these perfect steps like up in terms of the price. And I don't understand what causes something like that. It just feels I don't know. It's interesting, but captains continues to do just really well. And that's one that has been one of the strongest performers in this space. The pudgy play, like the reason I like Luca and what they're building there, they released another YouTube video. I'm not sure if I'm bullish on that aspect of things, but it's been interesting seeing their execution. And their focus has really been on the building a sustainable business side of things. And that's something that I'm very interested in. I also don't know why the lighting on my camera keeps switching back and forth. But anyways, that's a different story. In terms of Luca, I think that like, I'm just paying attention to those businesses that are like really executing. It sounds like Oni's doing it from a private equity standpoint, which is fascinating to me. I don't know what that like means in terms of like where they're headed. I'm curious, Easy, why are you so bullish on this, and are you buying based on that?
If it gets back to 1, I want to buy. I think I'll end up getting a couple just to get some exposure to it. Maybe even if we get back like sub 1, that's kind of where I'm looking.
It's 1.09 and the offer floor is at 0.96. So I feel like that's...
so like I would kind of like this better at like near 0.9, 0.85, to be honest. Like that area where it started to run up from last time. I think the lull on Sunday and this morning have led to some like profit taking on it, because it did have a nice little run up from 0.65, 0.7 to where we're at now. So any sort of retrace here has me interested. It's just that like their team doesn't have like many announcements. So like the catalysts and the runs aren't as volatile, which is always a tougher part. A lot of it's more like community speculation, which we're seeing, where people are like, yeah, token's coming. They partner with Horizon Labs, means the token has to drop. They did have comments, and I saw a few people commenting as well, that they brought up the fact that they would not launch a token with the floor so low. So it also makes me think that maybe they try to do what they can to get that valuation higher in order to do so. So like there's some speculation, I think, that's making me interested. Obviously, a VC organization with a track record that they have is kind of my catalyst and my thought process. And when you think about like anime projects, like everyone always credits Suzuki, but Oniforce was like the first one. So like I think there's some narrative there that they could spin that could cause some short-term volatility.
So sorry, you said VC. It's private equity, right?
Private equity. Sorry.
So, I mean, VC, I guess, is a division of private equity, but the I don't know. And their whole tagline is like literally it says Oniforce is the future of storytelling.
I love storytelling.
When
What
did
was
you
the last
last
story you
gather?
told? Name
Yeah,
5
gather around the
stories.
campfire.
I told a phenomenal story off the cuff the other day about this kid that lived in a castle and had pancakes for breakfast. That was the latest story I've told.
This was to your daughter?
Yeah. It was phenomenal. I think it was like Pulitzer Prize winning personally, and it was completely off the cuff. But yeah, with Oniforce, the thing for me is like I could definitely see I feel like there's a potential that it does one of those like pudgy penguin-esque repricing events, right? Like there's a potential for that. I don't know what like the percentage chance of that is. I certainly don't think it's like 80% or 90%, but I think there's like a percentage chance of that. So I mean, that's like the real, bull case. I just don't know enough about it to like have confidence making the bet at 1 ETH. Also, I feel just like a lot of stuff in the NFT space has really like been, retracing a lot of the pumps that they have, and like the pumps haven't lasted that long. So it's hard for me to like get into something after it's already made like a 2x move, just with how the volume is, out there in the market right now, and how, people are taking profits very aggressively. But like, I can see the thesis for the play. Like I can see why people are making the bet, because like if you make the bet here and you get this like, you know, new company narrative and you get like a pudgy penguin reprice, like yeah, it wouldn't be crazy for these things to be worth like 2.5 or like 3 ETH, but like I just don't have the personal confidence level to make that trade right now.
Nick, you brought up Oni Force as the future of storytelling, and you had a, correct me if I'm wrong, more of like a negative or confused look when you were bringing it up. Do you feel when you hear Oni Force, does that scream storytelling to you? Do you feel like that's a bullish narrative that you like when you hear that?
I mean, no. Like what? Like saying a storytelling NFT is
It's like,
something.
what stories have they told so far?
Right,
like no one's been bullish on storytelling NFTs was like flag thrown. We have our own narrative associated with like Bodagos, and we do with the project after that, the one that you'll be able to burn portals for. You know, it's an odd. It's just a weird time to be leaning in with that aspect of things, and we haven't seen anything on that front. That said, I think where the bullishness comes from is that there's an operating team in place that has business experience, and so there's something that's interesting there. I also think that, you know, this whole space as a whole just wants more of that, wants experienced founders, and that's what like Pudgy Penguins delivers. And it's really limited. I mean, actually, literally, outside of Pudgy Penguins, name another team. I'll actually put myself in there, put my hat in the ring for.
You do have an exit. You do have an exit.
Someone that has experience. Give me another company, another
D-Gods with Kevin D-Gods.
But it's not even the exit. I don't think it's the exits. It's not the execution of the founder. What they've previously done is their execution and their motivation and their purpose of why they want to be in this space. I think we've seen like there are other accomplished founders who have come in and perhaps 2 years later have perhaps been like, yeah, my attention is kind of going over there. I think you need that rare combination of like a founder who's experienced, is in this space, is hungry, wants to actually like do this whole bear and then wait for the next cycle. I think that's really rare to find that, like that personality that can straddle those two worlds. And then just going back to what you're saying about storytelling, I think it's such a red flag because we saw so many projects insert the word storytelling into their narrative in 2021 and 2022. And then at least in my opinion, the only one who's actually done a phenomenal job of it has been 10KTF. But even like some people in the space get fatigued because the story isn't fast enough. It's like been dripped week by week, whether or not you're happy
and
with
it doesn't
the
make
cadence.
sense.
No. If you're in that community, that story makes 100% sense. You just, I think, have to be patient for where the story is going to go and really be involved in the lore and like doing the missions and getting the correct NFTs. That team on storytelling, I think, have been one of the best, but I haven't seen many others really execute to that level. When you say the word storytelling, you literally think there's a story and stuff has been told. They've done it the best over the long term, I think.
I view them as a visual narrative team, and I think they've done a great job on the visual side of things, and they're great at recruiting visual creators, essentially. I think of even the person that made the portal. I think Thomas Dubois, I think, started working with them some. I'm not certain, but like they're really good at recruiting visual designers and artists, and I think that also is because Beeple's involved with it. So that's where they have a depth of experience. And I think that on the flip side, I if someone sends me the document on the storyline of 10KTF, I'll believe you, Signal, on the on like what the narrative is.
Dude, it's so clear. Just go to the website. It's there. But it just like, you know what it is, okay? It's like a trilogy. It's like Lord of the Rings, right? Like if you read the books, when you got to the film, you're like, yup, that makes sense. I sat here for 3 hours and it completely makes sense. But if you're trying to like jump in at like the second half of the story, I don't think it's that easy to get. And you do have to go, like, you do have to get your hands dirty, go in and be like, where did this story start? Where is it? Who is Wagme? Who is, I can't remember like
You are right.
the girl's name.
Yeah.
But it's
It's like
good.
tuning
it's compelling.
into Harry Potter's sixth book and being like, who the hell are
Exactly.
these people?
Exactly. That. Thank you. It's exactly like getting into book 6 and being like, why do they all want to kill this kid? And why is there a guy and nobody wants to say his name? Who is this guy?
And they've been using some classic stories to like inspire it too, Nick. I would describe it as like imagine Pinocchio in like a Lord of the Rings kind of storyline, and that's what 10KTF is.
Because the team is just lying.
No, just because like he's a cobbler in Pinocchio, you know, he like makes toys, and so this Wagner.
Got it. So you were focused on the cobbler, not Pinocchio himself.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, Pinocchio doesn't make sense, but his dad, creator, does.
Can we run with Harry Potter?
I think Harry Potter was a little closer, but we'll
So
swing
like
with the Pinocchio
you're like
reference.
imagine the cobbler from Pinocchio injected into Terminator, right? Terminator,
Yes.
and then like so he's
Yes.
on the streets, right? Like, and
Yep.
he's wearing sort of futuristic apparel now at this point in time. He's not wearing the wooden shoes that the Germans wear, as Pio correctly pointed out, because
Yes.
they're still walking around in their clogs. Is that what they're called? I see it every time I go to Germany, you know, just a bunch of clog wearing.
You go frequently, right? So you're really familiar with the clogs.
Last time I was in Berlin, saw a bunch of clogs.
Isn't that the Dutch who wear the clogs?
I think it may be actually.
Semantics,
Okay.
logistics. We don't
But
need to get into that.
Pio called it them, so we're
No,
gonna.
they have the Germans have the lederhosen and then they have the beer.
That's true. That's true. That's
Gotta give
true.
them a lederhosen.
You're right. You nailed it. Actually, I want to apologize. That was
Yeah,
racist.
you're gonna have to book a meeting with the head of HR, Bunny. He's gonna send you his Calendly link after this, Nick. One of the things I wanted to cover, guys, is the DotSWOOSH drop is happening today, and I personally want to give my take very quickly. I haven't seen anything on the timeline, barely anything from me about this drop today. It's a over 100K drop, $20 a pop, and it's going to be only with your credit card.
And what are you getting? You're getting a poster.
You're getting, I believe, shoes, these digital shoes that you can design yourself.
Clemente, I think also, are they utilizing a new wallet that's a competitor to MetaMask potentially as well? Because I'm trying to figure out whether or not that's a situation that we have.
I have zero clue. Again, I have very little.
That was it. That was a queue up.
You up for
Well,
this
I did
I
hear
set
that
you up
they may
there.
be using Phantom Wallet, the sponsor of this show.
Clemente's like, I don't understand.
He's like, I have no clue, man.
I don't understand. You're 6 minutes over on that read there, Clemente. I'm trying to set you up before we dive into it.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to now take a minute to thank the sponsor of today's show, Phantom. When it comes to managing your crypto assets, security should be your number one priority. We saw that over the weekend. The number one priority for this DGODS holder, one of one holder, that was not.
Wasn't using Phantom.
Wasn't using Phantom. They lost their number one DGODS holder. It was sold for 99 ETH after that. With some of the most notable influencers and Web3 professionals getting hacked, as we just mentioned,
Oh my
Phantom
gosh.
has set out to create a better solution and improve on some of the security issues that many users currently have with MetaMask. Phantom's browser extension and mobile apps offer a transaction simulator prior to completing the transaction to protect you and your valuable assets from phishing attacks. Phantom also supports Ledger Mobile, ensuring your assets are kept secure even with hardware wallets. Millions of users love Phantom's interface, which makes it easy to preview all transactions and understand any potential malicious activity. God, I love that word. Unlike MetaMask, which can make transactions difficult to decipher and understand, Phantom offers a super legible interface that keeps you informed and in control. With Phantom support for multiple seed phrases, you can import and manage all of your wallets in one place without the need to send NFTs or transfer assets. If you're ready to upgrade your wallet security, download Phantom at phantom.app. There's a pinned tweet up top, and import your ETH wallet for the ultimate NFT experience. Nick, thank you for you know what? You should have given me a wink beforehand. We got to come up with like a secret language. So I know
I also want to apologize to the Dutch and to the Germans for messing that up. I will say though, no matter whether you're Dutch or German or any other wherever you're from, it doesn't really matter. If you're wearing clogs, it's probably not good for your back. And I'm telling you, most people aren't wearing them nowadays anyway. So I feel like any reference to it is sort of irrelevant. It's more of a tourist sort of gimmick thing to end up buying some of these shoes.
Is this swoosh thing? Are these tradable NFTs, or are they just like you can buy them and hold them?
So I believe you can buy them and
The
trade them.
posters are tradable, which is what they gave out first, which is like the allow list.
So what do you know much about this, Easy? I know you're pretty involved within the shoe game. I don't know about the virtual shoes. Have you been keeping up to this? What do we need to know going into today's DotSWOOSH
Yeah,
drop?
so it's from what I understand, they're re-releasing a few pairs of Air Force Ones. These ones are not the created ones at the moment. So that's the one key thing, is that they're not like these creator AF ones. You know, these are instead just a couple key pairs that have like some unique materials on them, colorways, etc. There will be our creator pair that the community ends up voting on. So when you signed up for the DotSWOOSH, you were airdropped a poster. The posters have different rarities that gave you different allow list accesses for different pairs. So I know that as that rolls out, you're going to then be able to purchase the pair, basically skip the line. You have the highest priority to be able to purchase those. So there's not a rush. Like if you've ever done the sneaker thing before, you sign up for a raffle, you wait to see if you got confirmed or not. And 99% of the time you don't get it. You get this terrible graphic that says you were not chosen in really bright, bold letters right on your phone. It's demoralizing. And this just basically lets you skip it all.
So, okay. Do you, when you look at this collection, you see over 100,000 of these at $20 a pop. Does this scream sell out to you?
So I think this is bigger than just like NFTs. Like that's the thing here. It's like this is like the sneaker culture side of it. Like I genuinely, and like this is very comparable to like the artifact sneakers. Is like once those get in hand, that's the thing. Like
People are correcting you in the comments. They're saying you are wrong, Easy.
Yeah, Ace is like, you're wrong. You're an idiot. Not everyone got a poster. So sorry, they randomly airdropped the posters. So then you have general access. So okay, the poster was correct. If you got a poster, you get advanced access.
And Easy, are you eventually going to be able to like buy the physicals on these? Or?
It's for a physical sneaker.
Okay.
For
$19.
I believe
that's like the deal of the century.
It sounds like a steal at $20 a pop.
Wait, so I can go on OpenSea and buy a DotSWOOSH
poster? These. I don't believe these are on OpenSea. I think this is on the Swoosh marketplace. Or unless they've integrated it. That's the one thing I wasn't sure about. I haven't traded these yet. I know the DotSWOOSHs you could buy. That's the big thing. And these were for DotSWOOSH holders. So you had to have had the DotSWOOSH to potentially get airdropped the poster to then buy this sneaker, which is a digital sneaker, which the creator one is going to be the physical one. So this is just a digital one.
Nice. Can you wear it in the metaverse or
no?
That's bullshit.
No metaverse.
So the interesting thing to me about this is that you can't even pay with crypto. It needs to be a debit or a credit card. So it's very clear that their target audience is not the NFT native people, but people from the outside trying to get in. When you guys hear that and you hear that 100,000 total supply, how many of those people do we feel are actually going to get onboarded into this? Like, is this a bigger event than we're kind of playing onto here?
I mean, these people probably don't even know how to trade these things. There's probably a 5x out of the gate, especially when you combine it with the fact that Clemente said he didn't see much noise on the timeline.
No, there was noise in the timeline. It's just that effort. All of this was done through email. So you originally had to sign up with email. And then if you signed up before a certain date, those are the people that got the poster. And so I think because it's kind of like gone through email, there's no crypto being paid, is why it's kind of been catering to a different audience. If this went out to the entire email list, I mean, 100,000 really isn't that many. But for Nike, for the Nike customer base, 100,000 isn't that many.
Well, former president sold 100K.
Yeah.
So I think 100K at $19 will sell.
I can't find a way to buy it on the site though, and so it seems like they just ended up getting it. It seems like Nike is utilizing a strategy kind of similar to us with when it comes to custodial management of these things. I don't know if maybe if you sign in, it gives you some other capabilities. It's also cool that you can just log in with your Nike account. So
the shoes look cool too.
I know. Now I'm like getting like FOMO in a way that drove me into buying Haram this weekend, which was
just a little bit of a safer bet.
I would certainly agree with that. I mean, it
more
feels
safe than Haram.
More safe than Haram. If I had to put my money on Haram or DotSWOOSH, I'd probably go DotSWOOSH. But yeah, I mean, look, I thought these were tradable. I can't find them anywhere. So
Bullish.
if right, I mean, this feels potentially like we might see a little Donald Trump NFT like run because so much of the supply is locked in and the majority of people don't know what to do with it. Am I out to lunch on that? What do we? I mean, it doesn't feel like, other than that, it might just be a wait and see, and we
You're
check
not out
in
to lunch. No,
tomorrow.
I don't think you're out to lunch at all. The only thing is just figuring out whether these are tradable or not. If you know, if you know on the YouTube, like leave it in the comments, or anyone on Twitter Spaces, if you know that this is going to be tradable, because if it is, that makes it very much like those Reddit drops. So everyone's like, oh, what do you do? I don't know what to do. And only a small percentage know how to actually bridge it across. But the question is it tradable? And if not on day one, will they allow it to be tradable later on in the future? Because that would also make it an interesting
That's my
purchase
thought
as well.
here.
And
is
I
the
think they'll do it
potential
later.
future.
I think
Yeah.
they're hand holding their customer base. And
And
so
then
it
wait
will
for the
it'll be
DotSWOOSH
later.
marketplace in a couple
Yeah.
weeks. But then these are the first sneaker collectibles which inherently hold values. And like,
I don't
think-
even have a DotSWOOSH account, which is ridiculous. I just tried to get on, and now I'm on a waiting list to get the
Exactly.
DotSWOOSH account.
So you had to do, so it actually came out in December last year, and you had to sign up before a certain date in December. And if you missed that deadline, that's why you didn't get the poster.
There's someone
It's
out
all
there with
becoming
like
rarer.
5,000 accounts that they just created. You know it.
I mean, I'm bullish on this one just because it's Nike, and Nike operates in this space, and they're building out an entire ecosystem around this, and they're good at doing limited run drops. I would even argue better than Adidas, who can't get you a tracksuit within a year, a tracksuit that fits awkwardly. Anyway, I'll add. I don't see a lot of people walking around in those orange tracksuits. I'm going to be
it's
completely
loud.
honest.
Yeah, it's loud for sure.
Lot to work with there. Bunny, I see you have your hand raised. Do you have a DotSWOOSH account? Are you excited for today's drop?
No, not at all. I don't have an account. Not excited. But Nick was making his Haram joke, and it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because Haram was safe. Here's the thing: it was safe on Saturday, right? On Saturday it was alpha. On Sunday,
You just cut out there.
Yeah, I think Nick sent an assassin. He's like, I'm over this guy.
Got him finally. Hey, Bunny, just kidding. We really want you alive. You good?
Anyways, to summarize what Benny was saying, there was a tight window to make some gains on the Haram. Nick missed them, but he's not going to miss swoosh.
So just to put a bow on this, guys, for anyone listening, it seems like the drop will be happening today. The DotSWOOSH marketplace will be coming in the following weeks, and then you'll be able to buy and sell these. So that'll be something to watch for today, and we'll let you guys know how it goes tomorrow when we cover this. Give you guys a little bit of an update. Just to wrap this up, I wanted to cover some of the top 7-day movers because it feels like things are picking up traction. We covered a couple of these, but first I do want to jump to REKTGUY, because we covered this last week when it was at 0.5 on buy, sell, send it to zero. And we pretty much all said that this was a buy. It's now up 50% over the last 7 days, now sitting at 0.73 ETH. Signal, I see you getting fired up. Any notes to add here? Was there anything to this, or was this just a potential
a classic Nifty pump?
No, I mean, come on. We don't control the market. Maybe we do. No, but I mean, this is a buy. This is always going to be a buy, guys. It's just a no-brainer. This one, we went over the whys last time, so I'm not surprised out of all the collections sitting under 1 ETH in that sort of like 0.5 to 0.8 range, that this is one of the ones that pumped. It just has all the good markings.
Yeah, and I see them, I mean, pretty much every day. They're always on the timeline posting memes about people getting wrecked. I mean, it seems like they have a pretty good attention strategy. One of the things that stuck out to me this weekend, because it does feel like sentiment did pick up over the weekend in the NFT department, especially with Luca bringing in some attention. We see some positive price action around Oni Force. We have those 2 blend collections launching today. One of the things that I was thinking, and Nick, I'd love your take on this, is that it feels like NFT projects have this attention strategy now where they pretty much go quiet and community driven for about 1 to 2 months. And then they have this cadence where they, for a few weeks, they just completely take over the timeline. We're seeing it right now. It seems like with Pudgy Penguins. And for the last month and a half, we've seen D-Gods and Frank pretty much silent on the announcement department. We see Yuga Labs kind of do that exact same thing where they take over, they go quiet, and now it looks like things are going to pick back up again. Do you feel like that's the most optimal attention strategy there versus like every few weeks try to deliver something? And do you feel like there could be potentially in the next 30 days a lot of announcements coming in, especially with the Zuki's party coming in about 30 days?
Sorry, for which collection? You just threw in multiple collections there. I'm not sure. I have no idea what the question was.
Well, first is when you look at the attention strategy, and basically it seems like the trend is NFT projects go quiet and pretty much don't deliver anything for about a month and a half and then go like announcement mode for like 2 to 3 weeks. Do you feel like that might be the most optimal attention strategy going forward when you look at marketing?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yes.
That's just how marketing operates, is like you have to be campaign driven. Retaining attention just on an indefinite basis is not possible. That's always been the case, I think, with all these projects. The in between, the question is what shows up there. It used to be the community was like really active in talking about the projects. And I think in 2021, it made it feel like there was a lot of noise associated with the project, despite them not making any significant announcements. They may have been in the Discord. That was the case with Bored Ape Yacht Club. But now, because NFTs feel like a desert island, essentially, like that's just not connected to anything, that we have a very limited number of people participating in. It just feels disconnected, and it feels like a difficult it feels like a difficult place to be. But the reality is, I like this from a marketing campaign style. In fact, we've had conversations about that ourselves, and it's much more sustainable to deliver something in a short period of time and plan something rather than do all this ongoing stuff. But what does that have the impact on? That's the bigger question. Like, in the context of this question, are you saying like, how does that impact floors? Like what?
I think the biggest thing is floor price, and basically your point of view is like, hell yeah, this is a no-brainer from a marketing point of view. The bigger question is, how do you maximize the impact on these announcements when they do come out? And B, how do you keep your community engaged and happy while this kind of lull happens while you're prepping the campaign?
How you deal with the lows, the lull is a different thing. And Doodles like has not been able to do that, and a lot of other projects haven't done it. I also feel like it's for a lack. In their case, it's for a lack of effort as it applies to the social media side of things. Conversely, it's not clear that being around all the time helps your floor price necessarily. I feel like we're in one of a limited number of examples, frankly, of how it impacts things. We don't have an awful floor, but when you think of like what impacts price, that's a different conversation than how do you generate anticipation and hype around something, and that's marketing, right? Like that's just it. Ongoing communication strategy, that's communication, and some of it is marketing as well. But I don't know. I like
personally, hearing you the way you explained it, like to me, I at least make the mistake of both of those being wrapped into one, the communications and the marketing being kind of tied together. And I do think they play in the same kind of department. But when you look at like a collection like Moonbirds, for example, why have they not been able to deliver effectively, or essentially why are their announcements, it seems like, never taken well, right? Signal, you were a Moonbirds holder for a while.
Moonbirds announcements aren't taken well is because they change what they're doing. Like, they adjust to what they're saying. They have some really cool stuff. I saw a piece with Snowfro this weekend where you got a physical artifact associated with the digital counterpart, which was really cool. It was like a bowl that he had handmade essentially. And I don't know what that's like worth, but as a piece of art, it felt cool. It felt like this like physical relic that you would have associated with it. And I liked it. So I think Proof is really good with like their ability to create polished output. What they're really bad at historically is their communication around upcoming milestones. And so what they've done is there's been a disconnect where they say, we're going to go do this thing, which a lot of people don't, but they say, we're going to go do this thing. And then they go and do it, but it's completely different than what they had communicated. And so there's just a disconnect. And they've done that repeatedly over and over and over again. It seems like they trip over themselves because outside of that, their output is very polished. I think their content, their deliverables, their websites, their like everything that they create is very top notch. Frankly, it's amongst, the top in this entire space. They do a phenomenal job at it. I think they're just awful at communication, and they really just need to get someone in there who can like help with that. And I don't know, how much Kevin Rose impact, like you could like speculate on like how businesses are operated. I don't work with this guy, so I have no idea, no ability to communicate about that. I have no idea how hiring has impacted that. I have no idea how like the day-to-day operations have impacted it, but like there's so many variables when it comes down to these things. The reality is, I don't think the majority of NFTs are going to be worth the amount that they were at one point. I don't think that Bored Apes are going to be continue to be valued at the level that they're valued. I think a lot of these things are going to come down in price, and we're going to see much more compression. That doesn't mean you can't make money on speculation, but it would be speculation of going from 20 cents to $1.50. I'm taking it to the counter extreme rather than trying to trade $40,000 swings up to $60,000, which is just a insane subset of the market to be participating in. It's just irrational. So I think that's the biggest issue that we're going to run up against. I own a punk, and I sometimes wonder whether or not that's even rational. I could see those to be worth $15,000 would be like an insane thing. I never owned a painting that was $15,000 before, and here we are discussing it. And that's the thing that's just so difficult. It is near impossible for any business to justify the price of the NFTs that exist when they're in the tens of thousands of dollars range. It's just, it's near impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when what you say absolutely resonates with me. And I think the market and what we've seen recently would also align with that as well. From the likes of, we have DotSWOOSH today at $20, right? When you look at like a 5X, hey, you sell that for $100, you made $80. It was rumored that Amazon would be launching its NFT marketplace today, being very retailer focused and easy. I know you've talked about this from like a mass adoption point of view. Your view, correct me if I'm wrong, has been like, hey, mass adoption is not going to be my $1,000 assets are going to be worth $10,000. It's going to be more of these retail focused NFT drops for consumers.
Yeah, and look, even now, like NFL Rivals is actually doing a pretty damn good job when you look at the iOS and Android app. It's a mobile game that's out now, and the players are NFTs. Nobody has any concept that blockchain or NFT tech is even used, and they have $300-400 sales almost daily for rookie quarterbacks and other like top tier players on there. And it's a very simple like Madden-esque game where you only play on the offensive side of the game. Defense is automated, and it's just very user-friendly. Pack openings, all that other stuff, it very much so reminds me of like the trading card style of stuff, which when you go out and buy a pack of trading cards, you're buying something that's $8 to $10 and hoping to hit a chase card that then becomes worth significantly more. You buy a box for $100-200, you buy a case, etc. And then like there's tiers of those where like people will spend $3,000 on a case that has a much higher chance to hit that $10,000 card. So there's different verticals of it, but like when you want a lot of people to participate, there has to be a cheap option that gets everyone involved, or even a free option. And that's where like the interest stems from and comes into play. So like that's like, we talk about mass adoption, and I don't think we're going to see mass adoption from profile picture projects, but that's not to say that a profile picture project can't create an opportunity to get people into that ecosystem and community through a low cost or even free way, and just get people excited about being in the space for some form of like emerging technology and digital collectibles. Like people play video games to collect achievements on the game and get 100% completion rate. What's going to stop people from doing the same thing when you have achievements, streaks, badges, all these other things in a collection? And like we saw with Azuki, where they give you badges on their website based on the assets that you've previously owned. So people have tried to collect full sets just by going through everything in that ecosystem.
Well, and we saw we've seen the excitement, Nick, in what you've created with the free NFTs, right? Which is like, people like collecting stuff. They like being able to see, hey, here's my streak. Hey, I have a full set. Where the series and the storytelling that can come along with that. I don't really have a question, Nick, but more so like, we've been doing this now for almost 2 months, these free NFTs, has the reaction and actually how much people like collecting this, has that surprised you from before you were launching as you were prepping it, what the outcome has been?
Well, look, I don't know in terms of what impacted the design of our site and stuff like that. There's a bigger picture with it, and the reality is, I believe that custodial NFTs are where 99+% of the action is going to be moving forward. That doesn't mean that there's no inherent value. I also believe that speculation is a major component of this market, and it is right now. That's where the majority of it started. But I don't know. It's anybody's guess as it applies to this, and the stuff that Easy's talking about with gaming is accurate. You know, there's a possible world where, like, here's where the problem lies in crypto overall, is that technology speculation is different is detached from practical implementation. And I think that we saw it with the ICO boom, where a lot of people bought into promises of technology that would exist in the future, but none of the people buying it gave a shit about the technology, knew anything about the implementation, and really don't care about it. We end up with a product like Ethereum where, frankly, coding on it sucks. Like, it's just not a great experience. There's been developer tools that have been built since then to accommodate for that. And then we've seen developer platforms be built and no one ends up using it. It's sort of this situation where, like, the market's operating in a place where, and most of the transactions and activity in this ecosystem is built heavily based around speculation. As much as we talk about the promise of crypto and we talk about all the theoretical stuff, the reality is the majority of activity within the cryptocurrency space is speculation. That's just it. That's where we're at. And what we talk about is like, well, where is the adoption going to happen? I actually think that NFTs happen to be the #1 channel of adoption moving forward. I think DeFi has its place as well, but it's not going to be called DeFi. It's going to, like, someone's going to have to build infrastructure products and things like that, where you have a mobile app, you go and use it, and it's backed by DeFi. Okay. Like, and so it's not backed by the banks. And we say that trust and transparency and all these other things matter. And some designer is going to figure out a way to actually present that information in a compelling way that doesn't look like 1,200% in APR, APY, whatever the heck it is, in terms of like generating income.
Right.
That's the gap that needs to be jumped. And we haven't seen that. Instead, we've seen presentations of like Decentraland, which nobody wants to fucking use. So like, no one uses it. It's not cool. No one gives a crap about it other than like businesses when they heard the hype around the metaverse. And I just don't believe that Decentraland is going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and suddenly have a platform that millions of people are using. I just don't believe that that's the case, because the only one that I thought could have maybe was like Second Life or something like that. Not today, but when they existed, they had huge waves of adoption without any promise of money. Although a marketplace did pop up, but it didn't require crypto. It didn't require any of these different things. So they were able to build an economy.
And it was also users that created those assets on that marketplace. Like, that was the other thing with Second Life, was that it was all largely user-generated content for it, which you see similarly with like a Roblox. You're now seeing it with Fortnite's creator mode. A lot of those things are being created by the participants, which leads to more adoption as people hear about that opportunity. So to me, it's really interesting, because like, you look at these other games too, from like the Minecrafts to the Roblox to the Fortnite creative modes, and those are what's actually gaining. Like, people still want to create and play with their friends, and as soon as one of those games becomes interesting, that's what sees like a net new wave of users stepping in.
Yeah, and all these things are going to see adoption. I just don't think it's going to manifest in a way that impacts the prices that people anticipate.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the price was so blown out of proportion. And we're now steadily working our way down and sort of coming off that high. And it's been a pretty long period of coming off that high. And we've been saying there's going to be a bear. It's going to be tough, all these other different things. Frankly, like when I look at our NFT, I'm like, okay, well, that feels like something we reasonably can do, because like if you think about like a news site, for example, the information.com I use as an example, that costs $360 a year, which is more than our NFT. So if we can't figure out something that like gives someone that sort of level of value, okay, that's ridiculous. If you go and price our NFT at $20,000, it's going to become really difficult for us to like think through, okay, what are the things that we can deliver that actually provide that level of value? And I think anyone that ends up in that place is in a similar sort of slightly different challenging spot of someone who raised too much money and needs to figure out what to do with all this capital to justify the capital that they just raised and the valuation that they just set, when like they may be making a couple $1 million a year in income, but the size of the business is valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, which is just like, there's just a massive disconnect here. It's the same thing when the price of your NFT is at this incredibly high level. You have to at some point look at it and say, what do I get out of that thing? And as much as you want to talk about Veblen goods and all these other things that like were like buzzwords during the original NFT boom, at the end of the day, we're all like semi-rational consumers. We may be irrational with our money. We may not be smart with our finances. Like there's different things that we can do where it's driven by emotion, but inevitably, like it does come back to something at some point. You got to pay the piper. And like, if you went into credit card debt, at some point you're gonna be like, fuck, like I'm in a bunch of credit card debt. It's the same way when you're holding an incredibly expensive asset and you're saying, damn, that's 30 or 50% of my net worth. Like you're going to sit there and maybe ask a question about it, or your significant other who hopefully is still with you, is going to ask you a question about that asset.
But I think it's a good thing that the speculation in a way has subsided, because then when you are going to buy these PFPs, you're just buying them like you're buying it like with, as you should, with the expectation that the price will not go up. So I'm buying it just because I buy it, because like you were saying, as a holder, you the thing you're talking about with Moonbirds, with the digital linking to the physical, like at the end of the day, there are going to be collections that go up, but there's going to be probably a lot of them that don't. And if you're holding this, then you got to be thinking, okay, if that price keeps going down, am I just happy to sit in this community and just like chill and just let them deliver their toys, their lore, like whatever it is they're doing, and I just hold this PFP and it's worth 1 ETH or it's worth 0.5? Am I happy to do that? Or maybe it's worth 20 grand. But I think like people just getting comfortable with the fact that the price will not go up is a good thing, because this is what this whole period is about. It's just like it's like slowly drawing down that 80 to 90%, which are just like, we're just here for vibes. We're here for building. No, but
I'm here for the depression of it, dude.
No, no, I don't mean vibes. I don't mean vibes in like that way. I mean, like, you're here to let the team deliver. You're here to like build relationships, get to know people, whether that's individually, you're doing spaces, you're building yourself personally. But just, I think like the speculators who are just here for trading and don't do well with it, they're going to find these next 12 to 18 months really, really tough, unless they find another reason to be in it. If you're making money, then everything's great in the world. But if you're not, you're kind of like twiddling your thumbs trying to think like, so why am I holding so many of these PFPs that I can't even rotate on Twitter, because every time I rotate, I lose my blue check mark. So I'm really stuck with this one PFP. So why the hell am I holding it? I just think these questions will come up more. And this is when you start to see that 80 to 90% statistic just start to play out over these next months.
Right. And hell of a conversation, guys. The comments are loving it. People are excited about this, even though it might be a little bit depressing. I think it's a real view of what we're currently facing. We're a little bit over time, but first, before we roll out the free NFT for today, I'm going to take a quick second to thank Phantom, the sponsor of.
We have a free NFT today.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a good one. Nick, I can't wait for you to check it out. As an NFT enthusiast, you need a wallet that is purpose-built for the community. And
I
that's
do.
why you need to check out Phantom, Nick, the wallet that offers the best way to showcase your NFT collection. Phantom's browser extension and mobile apps make it easy to manage all of your NFTs across Ethereum, Matic, and Solana in one spot. Plus, you can view rich details about each NFT, including the price you bought it at and the current floor price. One of Phantom's most popular features is the ability to directly list and edit your NFTs on marketplaces. This feature is already live for Solana and is coming very soon for Ethereum. And with support for multiple seed phrases, you can import and manage all of your wallets in one place without the need to send NFTs or transfer assets. Lastly, Phantom has millions of users already enjoying an amazing experience on Solana, and now they're bringing that same modern experience and excitement to Ethereum. So if you're ready to take your NFT collecting to the next level, head to phantom.app and import your ETH wallet for a superior NFT experience, ladies and gentlemen. To wrap it up for today, we have the free NFT. So go to thenifty.com/claim and enter the password Ocean11. Ocean11.
Did we do a partnership with the movie?
No. OCEAN 11. That'll take you for today's drop.
Ooh, you should have called this one Little Mermaid.
So today's free NFT, we have an absolute beauty, the Trident of the Dog God. Deep beneath the surface of the ocean lies a relic of ancient power. The Trident
Look
of the
at
Dog
this
God.
stuff. Isn't
Carved
it neat?
Carved from the darkest depths of the ocean, this legendary Bodogos relic is steeped in mystery and lore. Some say it was forged by a powerful canine deity, while others claim it was a gift from the mermaids who guard the treasures of the deep, a Little Mermaid. But one thing is certain, those who wield the Trident of the Dog God possess an otherworldly strength and connection to the spirit of the canine. Look at that beauty. Nick, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm ready to play an outro from The Little Mermaid and get on with this show, you know? Cue up part of your world. And we're gonna sing it together, Clemente. You ready for this?
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is today's show. Apologies for going a little bit over. I thought it was a great discussion towards the end. Some phenomenal riffs from Nick, Signal, Easy, and of course, Bunny. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will be here tomorrow at the same time at 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern.